Let's transition into what Boris Johnson just said yesterday. If you want to pull up that video, we covered a lot of different topics here. We found out Abraham Lincoln is white, which was
breaking news,
extremely
guys.
important. If you want to make that bigger, this is Boris Johnson.
Play
he just
ended
said
badly.
this 3 days ago. Go ahead.
Mandate the wearing
Rewind
of
a little
face
bit because you
masks
played it when I was
anywhere.
speaking. Go back a little bit. Here we go.
The government will no longer mandate the wearing of face masks anywhere. Mr. Speaker.
Wait. Listen.
Mr. Speaker.
Are they booing him?
Mr. Speaker, from tomorrow we will no longer require face masks in classrooms, and
Look how happy they are.
the Department for Education will shortly remove national guidance on their use in communal areas. In the country at large, we will continue to suggest the use of face coverings in enclosed or crowded spaces, particularly when you come into contact with people you don't normally meet, but
Listen.
we will trust the judgment of the British people and no longer criminalise anyone who chooses not to wear one. The government will no
He just saved his hiney.
What do you think about that, John?
I think British people just sound smarter because of their accent. But yeah, trust people. If you compare the states, and my last video is about that, how there's just no pattern. States that don't require masks, like Florida, they get smeared. Oh, more deaths in Florida than any other place. And the slimy media does this by mentioning Florida when you have a bad month and ignoring Florida when the numbers are good. Florida is number 19 in deaths, and Florida has more old people. So Florida's doing pretty well despite having totally different rules. And there's just no pattern.
It's the third largest population in the country.
New York, New Jersey did really badly, and they have tough rules. So can you say, well, locking people up increased the problems from COVID? No, because there were fewer deaths in California, and they had horrible rules. So there's no pattern. And everybody acts like, oh, yes, if you only do this, you will solve it. But we're never going to solve COVID. It lives on in animals. Are we going to require lions and tigers to wear masks? We have to deal with this.
It's a bad look. Lions look good.
They need their mouth.
What would you say, Danielle?
I think that we're learning that common sense, as Prime Minister Johnson said, that common sense should prevail. I mean, if you're like in a really crowded subway car in New York and you don't have a mask on, then you know, in the event that you've got minor lupus, and I get COVID and it takes my ass down. Hi, I was in a crowded subway car with people breathing all over me. If I'm walking down the street or if I'm in a store by myself and it's not crowded and I don't have my mask, fine. Is it going to come up and jump and get me from someplace across the street? No.
Where I live, they're wearing masks outside.
I know. I'm in New York on Tuesday. That's the freakiest thing about New York is that there's such a fear factor. Mm-hmm. I was in Los Angeles recently, and there are people walking on the streets, empty streets of Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, in masks, and I'm like, what do you think is going to get you? You're outdoors. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Government shouldn't brainwash people out of having any common sense. And that's what we've seen in America.
And elsewhere. Austria just mandated vaccinations.
Yep.
But fear is such a powerful motivator. And as a consumer reporter, I was eagerly covering every scare that came by. Red dye number 6, asbestos from hair dryers.
Tylenol.
Y2K, it's going to crash all the planes. Yep. That's kind of like the new thing, this G5 they're talking about.
5G, yeah.
One after the other. None of it happened. You're going to get brain cancer from your cell phone. The killer bees are coming up from Mexico, and they're going to sting us to death.
But what they said about putting metal in microwaves, that was true.
Well, that's true.
You laughed. I made you laugh. Oh, my God.
That's the joke? That's the one that made you laugh? The metal and microwave jokes? Oh, my God. It's a tough crowd over here.
Don't put metal in the microwave.
So, it's true.
But we fall for it again and again. It's fear porn.
Fear porn. I like that.
They're
That's a
Fear
huge.
porn.
That's a huge hashtag on Twitter.
Yeah, fear porn. I like that. So it's no longer, what's that porn
And by the way,
website?
people,
Pornhub is going to be Fear Hub, right?
For all my Twitter followers, PVD is getting to be really active on Twitter. So all my Twitter followers, you better be following him.
Wow.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.